Hi everyone, it is 7 o'clock on Saturday and I am popping on for my Share It Saturday. I hope you will join me, or if you can't join me now, we'll head back and watch this on replay. I'm going to be doing a fancy fold card. So yeah, I actually have, hi Nicole, thanks so much for popping on. I have the dimensions for the fancy fold, which I am going to showcase in this live video. And then I am going to also, I know I say this, so I have them here. So my plan is to post them once I am done this Facebook Live so that you can access those as well. Hi Karen, thanks so much for popping on. So today's card is actually going to be a little bit of winging it, because normally I will design a card and make one and then make another. And today I'm just gonna kind of go with the flow. I'm not really doing that. So I'm kind of excited to see how this turns out. So the first thing that I'm going to do, so I don't actually have something to show you because it's going to come together as we make this, but I do have the idea in my head. So the first thing that I'm gonna do is show you the dimensions of the fancy fold, and then I'm going to get started and actually make it. So I'm just gonna bend this down. Okay, so I hope you can see this. I am gonna hold it up, and again, I will post it, but the fancy fold card, this is the fancy fold card base, and you wanna cut your paper at 4 by 11, and then you're going to score at 6 inches, you're gonna score at 7 1/8, you're gonna score at 9 inches, and you're gonna score at 10 1/8. And then, this is the other piece that goes along with that. And this one, you're going to cut your paper at 3 1/4 by 6. And then you're gonna score at 4 1/4 and 5 3/8. So I will post those dimensions. And then of course, with your mats, now this I'm actually going to be using designer series paper, but I just created all of these as templates. So for your designer series paper mat, you're going to cut your paper at 5 inches by 3 3/4. You're going to cut a mat at 3 by 4. And you're going to cut a mat at 3 3/4 by 1 5/8. So those are all of the pieces that are going to create the fancy fold card. And now I'm just going to, you see I've got my little scoreboard here, and I think you can see that. So I've already got it cut. So I'm just going to do my scoring. So I'm gonna score at 6. I'm gonna score at that 7 1/8. I'm gonna score at 9. And I'm going to score at 10 1/8. And then on my other piece, I am going to, oh, let me just grab those dimensions. I'm gonna score at 3, no, I'm gonna score at 4 1/4 and 5 3/8. So I've got all of my pieces scored now, and I'm just going to fold them up. What's really nice about this fancy fold card is that it actually lies flat, and I will show you when I'm done. And I'm just gonna move the scoreboard out of the way. And what I'm working with today, so I'm loving this set. I'm actually working with our prized Peony bundle. And if you haven't seen it, I am holding a class, an online class with this. This actually isn't one of the cards, but the cards that are going to be part of this class are gorgeous. Hi Heidi, thanks so much for popping on. And I'm also working with, these are gorgeous. These are in the new annual catalog, and there are vellum doilies, and they are so beautiful. And I'm also working with our Subtles folder. So I am just going to, I have pre-cut my pieces. So I'm working with Highland Heather, and I just want to give this a little bit of texture. So I'm going to run both of my pieces through the Subtles embossing machine, or through the Subtles and folder, I should say, through the Big Shot machine. So I'm just gonna run that through really quick. And then I'm just gonna start working on my card. So I've got that done, and I can just get this out of the way now as well. Okay, and I love the Subtles folder because it just gives that little bit of texture on your card without really taking away. And I'm going to be using a peony on the top of the card. So for those of you that have been watching my Share It Saturdays, last Saturday I showcased a really cool technique using our embossing folders on designer series paper and then scrubbing with a sanding block. And so I wanted to use this designer series paper this week on my card. So I'm just gonna take that piece, this one's already done from last Saturday, and I am going to get my card started. So you're just gonna take your designer series paper and lay it down on the back panel of that card, just like that. Hi Jen, I just saw that you popped on. Hi Jen. Oh, thank you. Yes, actually the necklace, I'll do a quick little interim. The necklace actually coordinates with my bracelet, and it was actually part of my Mother's Day gift from my daughter. So thanks, Jen. Okay, so Jen, you're actually going to recognize this card base. Your card inspired me to showcase this. Because I got a beautiful card for my birthday from Jen as this style of fancy fold. So now I'm going to take this piece here, and this I'm actually just going to glue down onto the surface there. And what's nice with the Subtles folder is either side works. They basically kind of look the same. It just makes it into kind of a textured looking cardstock. So it's really, really cool. There we go. And this final piece here just goes across the front panel of your fancy fold card. Now, I love fancy fold cards, and again, don't do them enough. So I'm wanting to do more of this. If this is something that you guys would like to see, let me know, because I can definitely do more fancy fold cards. Okay, so I've got the basis of my card done. So now here's a little trick. So you're wanting to put this panel together, and you want to make sure that it stands up. So what I like to do is I will actually fold it right down, and I'll put my glue onto that strip, and then I just take this and I fold it down. Hold on. Maybe I should fold it this way. So I'm gonna just fold it just like that. This way you're going to ensure that it is perfectly matched up. If you try to sort of stand it up and line them up, you might not get the perfect layout. This way you know for sure that you're gonna have that perfect little square box, just like that. So just lay it down, put your glue down, and then fold that flap over, and that is going to give you your perfect little square. Then what you're going to do is you're going to come in, and you're just going to do the same thing. You're gonna lay this down. So I'm just gonna put some glue across the bottom of this. And I actually like to flatten it, because that just makes it easier when you're gluing down. And you're just gonna lay that down, glue that down just like that. And then same idea, fold it all the way down like that. Put your glue onto your little flap, just like this, and pop it down. You're gonna glue that down, rub that down. Tombo's really nice. Again, I use Tombow all the time. Some of you love it, some of you don't. I love it because in case you make a little mistake, it does give you a little bit of wiggle room, but then when you're done, you know hands down that your card is totally going to stay. Okay, so look at how quick and simple that was. And now I've got my card base totally designed, ready to go. Now to decorate the front of it. So I have pre-cut my peony. And of course, I've got, look at these gorgeous doilies. They are so gorgeous, so detailed. And I have to tell you too, they have got a lot of strength to them. They're not flimsy in any capacity. They are just so beautiful. And when you're working with doilies, of course, I didn't bring them up, but people have asked me, well, how do you attach vellum onto cardstock or onto a card and not have that, have the glue show through? Glue dots are perfect, perfect, perfect if you're wanting to use vellum on a project. But the first thing that I'm gonna do is show you how to put together the peony. So I've brought my Highland Heather because I want to give this a little bit more dimension in the pattern. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my sponge, I'm going to dip it in my ink, and then I'm just going to gently roll it onto my flower. And this is just going to give it a little more texture, a little more dimension, and also make this peony look a little more realistic. And you can do as much or as little as you want when you're working with the peonies. I love a bit of color, so I'm putting in quite a bit. So I've done that one. I'm gonna come back in and sponge this one here. And just adding that little bit of extra color is just going to finish off that flower. So I have to ask, while I'm doing this, I can actually ask questions. What do you guys either have planned for the rest of your weekend, or have you been doing lots of fun things over the weekend? I'm kind of excited. I had sort of talked about this before, but tomorrow is a really big day for me because tomorrow my parents are actually going to be meeting my biological father for the very first time. So this is very exciting. I am super excited about how all of that is going to happen. So a little bit of anxiety. I'm not anxious, but it's a good excitement. So now I am just going to use my bone folder just to give, again, just that little bit more texture, dimension on this flower. And again, with the peonies, they are gorgeous on their own. You don't have to do anything else to them, but I like to sort of finish it off, make it look kind of very realistic. So I don't mind taking that little bit of extra time to give it a little bit more, as we say. And honestly, I find it relaxing, so it's kind of fun. Now I'm going to show you again the way to put your flowers together. There are these coordinating bottoms, and so when you're going in, and they just slide one into the other. So I'm just going to slide this down, and you're just going to line them up just like that across the bottom. And I'm just going to show you just like that, just across. I'll have to, if I don't catch your comments now, I promise I will go back in after and comment. It's just with the way things are, I can't really see them. So, oops, I'm just gonna pop this one in. There we go. And again, see how I'm just lining them up, and it's designed perfectly so that you can just line them up, and you see how it's starting to come together. Ooh, love it, love it, love it. All right, put my last piece together and just slide this down. Okay, and line it up across the back there. And there's no right or wrong way. I personally find it easier to go from the smallest flower petal to the largest, but you can do what you like best. And I'm actually gonna come back in and just add in a little more depth with that. There we go. So I'm just gonna hold that up. So there is my little peony. And then I've got that little, what is it called? Stanum? Isn't that what they're called in the flower world? I'm not sure. But just sort of that centerpiece, just to finish it off. And there is my beautiful peony. So now I'm actually going to glue this down. I'm gonna glue the vellum. I'm just gonna hold that up, just like that. So I'm actually putting it on the diagonal, so my vellum piece looks, instead of a square, it looks like a diamond. So I want to do it like that. And my peony is just gonna pop. So what I can do is I can actually glue down that center, because the peony is going to be hidden on top of that. So I am just going to put that down. Now I will say though too, because the vellum doilies have a lot of depth to them, I guess, or they're quite thick, I'm actually noticing you actually can't see the glue through it. So you could actually use the Tombow glue to glue them down, because you actually don't see the glue through that. So that's awesome. Okay. Yes, I brought my dimensionals, so I'm just going to take my dimensionals and pop those onto the back. Oops, I got two there. Boop, boop, onto the back of my peony, and pop those off. So as you can see, really super fast, super simple, but people will think that you spent oodles and oodles and oodles of time creating this card. Okay, so I'm just gonna plop that down. And then of course, I did pre-cut my leaves. So I'm just going to, again, just to give them just that touch of dimension, I'm just gonna give them a little curl. And then with my dimensionals, I'm gonna pop them onto the back here and pop these onto my card. And again, you can place these wherever you want. Oop. Okay, I am almost done. And I want to make sure that that's not gonna, I'm gonna pop this up a little bit. There we go. And voila. Hi, Melissa. Thanks so much for popping on. All right, I'm just gonna move this back up. There we go, so you guys can see me. So that is the fancy fold card. And yes, if you watch from the beginning, I do post the dimensions, and I will also, no problem, Melissa. At the beginning, if you do watch the replay, I do post the dimensions, but I'm also planning, once the live is done and I've shared it onto my page, I will post the dimensions as well. So that is, yes, that is the fancy fold card using the new vellum doilies. Love them, and the peony. And then from last week's Share It Saturday, I wanted to use that designer series paper that I created, so I was able to combine everything. Yes, Heidi, absolutely. You can write on the backs of the card. You got it. So you can write a message, or what you could do is you could cut another mat if you wanted and write your message and glue it onto the back of the card, but you got it. That's exactly where you would write your message. And then it just flattens. It flattens right down so that you can mail it like that as well. And then when they get it, boom, it pops open. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. If you would like to see vellum dollars, oh, are they on back order? So frustrating. But if you would like to see other fancy fold cards or things like that, let me know, because again, I want to showcase things that you guys would love to see. And also, thanks, I want to say, first of all, thank you for all of you guys that have been sharing my posts. I totally appreciate, I really, really appreciate. And if you want to keep doing it, I would love it, love it, love it. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And I hope you enjoyed the fancy fold card. I will get those dimensions up. And if you are interested in the Peony class, I hope you will join me. I am going to be holding that on August 2nd, and I can promise you, you will love, love, love. Hi, Jennifer. You will love, love, love the projects that are going to be included in that class. So, thank you guys so much for all of the love. Mwah, 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 mwah. Thank you. Oh, thank you, Karen. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you for sharing, Melissa. You guys are amazing. Thank you for the love, guys. Have a great night. Bye.